Ever wonder why some projects collapse in slow motion, despite the smartest people, biggest budgets, and best intentions? Behind every failed project is a string of painfully familiar missteps. Missed deadlines, endless revisions, irate stakeholders, and teams on the verge of mutiny. But here's the twist: failure doesn't usually come from what you don't know. It comes from ignoring what you already do. Welcome to the Ultimate Anti-Guide, where we don't just show you how to succeed, we show you, vividly and hilariously, how to absolutely wreck a project. Project management literature is full of best practices, methodologies, and frameworks meant to guide professionals toward success. But in reality, the most profound lessons often come from the rubble of failed initiatives. This guide flips the script. Instead of walking you through what should be done, we explore what should never be done, and why. Through humor, reflection, and brutally honest insight, How Not to Manage a Project dissects the core mistakes that lead to breakdowns, burnout, and budget blowouts. Each misstep offers a cautionary tale that reinforces the value of discipline, communication, and leadership in project execution. How Not to Manage a Project, the Deep Dive Edition. 1. Skip planning entirely. Just do it. Gone wrong. Root cause: overconfidence, pressure to act fast, or stakeholder demands to get results yesterday. Deeper effect: skipping planning doesn't just mean no timelines. It means no alignment on goals, resources, dependencies, or scope. Teams lose their North Star and begin producing outputs disconnected from actual business outcomes. Case in point: a government tech project in 2017 launched development without a clear scope or data plan. Midway through, new privacy regulations invalidated core features. The project was scrapped after $14 million in losses. Contrast with best practice. In effective project management, the initiation and planning phases are the foundation of project success. Even agile projects start with high-level roadmaps and stakeholder consensus. 2. Ignore stakeholders. The "build it and they will hate it" method. Root cause: disdain for bureaucracy, ego-driven leadership, or a desire to move quickly without debate. Deeper effect: stakeholders feel excluded and lose trust. Their needs are unmet, creating friction and late-stage interventions that derail the work. Worse, they may actively resist the solution. Psychology behind it: stakeholders need emotional and strategic buy-in. Ignoring them violates trust, creating long-term resentment. Contrast with best practice. Stakeholder analysis and engagement are core PMBOK knowledge areas. Regular check-ins and feedback loops prevent misalignment and build champions for the project. 3. Set unrealistic deadlines. Fantasyland forecasting. Root cause: desire to please executives, lack of data-driven forecasting, or inexperienced project leads. Deeper effect: panic-driven work culture, massive overtime, quality drop-offs, and eventually, burnout, turnover, and reputational loss. Real-world case: a major e-commerce replatforming effort was promised in 6 months, it needed 18. Developers quit en masse. The launch failed spectacularly, losing millions in sales. Psychology behind it: it feels heroic to promise speed, but it's a trap. Hero culture often conceals technical debt and project rot. 4. Micromanage everything. The control freak catastrophe. Root cause: insecurity, lack of trust, or cultural norms that reward authoritarian leadership. Deeper effect: stifled innovation, delayed decision-making, and passive teams who wait for instructions instead of solving problems proactively. Behavioral impact: micromanagement disempowers. It kills accountability because the team believes, "Nothing I do is ever good enough." Best practice contrast: empowered teams with clear roles perform better. Good managers delegate outcomes, not just tasks. 5. Poor communication. Silence is the killer. Root cause: inexperience, conflict avoidance, or overly hierarchical structures. Deeper effect: small misunderstandings compound into major blockers. Teams duplicate effort, miss critical dependencies, and respond too late to change. Tool failure example: using 5 tools with no integration, Slack, Teams, email, Jira, and Excel, creates siloed knowledge. Team A never sees what Team B is doing. Best practice contrast. A single source of truth, dashboard, project hub, and regular syncs are critical. Communication isn't a soft skill, it's project infrastructure. 6. Scope creep without control. The yes to everything syndrome root cause. Lack of a formal change control process, weak PM authority, or fear of conflict. Deeper effect. Budgets explode. Schedules slide. Developers feel like they're chasing a moving target. Quality suffers as priorities become muddled. Real-world horror. NASA's Mars Climate Orbiter failed due to a small untracked change in data units, imperial versus metric. A billion-dollar example of unmanaged scope risk. Best practice contrast. Controlled change management, impact assessments, stakeholder review, traceability, ensures that scope shifts are intentional, not chaotic. 7. No risk management. Playing project roulette root cause. Short-term thinking, fear of slowing momentum, or belief that everything will work out. Deeper effect. When issues arise, supply chain delays, vendor outages, legal shifts, no one is prepared. Entire project momentum collapses in panic. Psychological bias. The optimism bias makes people underestimate threats and overestimate readiness. Denial is easier than preparation. Best practice contrast. Top-tier project leaders identify risk early and revisit it often. Risk response strategies are the project's immune system. 8. Wrong tools. No training. Tech soup mayhem root cause. Shiny object syndrome or reliance on legacy tools nobody knows how to use. Deeper effect. Data fragmentation, version control nightmares, status confusion. Teams spend more time managing tools than doing the work. Case study. A Fortune 500 firm used 4 disconnected tools across 5 departments. Project reporting took 9 hours per week, per team. Best practice contrast. Choose 1-2 integrated platforms. Train everyone. Define governance, naming conventions, data hygiene, from day 1. 9. Skip QA. Move fast and break everything. Root cause. Desire to impress with speed, overconfidence in early deliverables, or underfunded QA teams. Deeper effect. Products reach users full of bugs, inconsistencies, and potential security vulnerabilities, tanking trust and adoption. Real case. A financial app launch skipped end-user testing. A calculation bug misreported balances, eroding user confidence overnight. Best practice contrast. Done should mean tested, reviewed, accepted. QA is not a phase, it's a mindset embedded across the lifecycle. 10. Dodge accountability. Blame the intern. Root cause. Toxic culture, lack of psychological safety, or self-preserving leadership. Deeper effect. No one takes initiative. Risks and mistakes are hidden. A culture of fear forms where performance drops to bare minimum. Behavioral chain reaction. If no one feels safe admitting failure, then learning dies. Mistakes repeat, reputations burn, and trust vanishes. Best practice contrast. Accountability is about ownership, not punishment. Strong PMs model it openly, taking blame, sharing praise, and owning outcomes. 11. No lessons learned. Fail and forget. Root cause. Time pressure to start the next project, or denial that anything went wrong. Deeper effect. Teams carry dysfunctions forward. Process flaws persist. The same problems resurface in future work. Case study. A retail firm launched 3 mobile apps in 3 years. Each suffered from the same release bottleneck and API delay due to lessons not being documented. Best practice contrast. Postmortems aren't a checkbox, they're organizational memory. Capture what worked, what failed, and what to fix next time. 12. Celebrate too early. The "we're done. Wait, we're not" trap. Root cause. Focus on delivery over sustainability. Project ends at go live instead of full lifecycle closure. Deeper effect. No documentation. No user training. No support handover. The team disappears, leaving chaos behind. Customer fallout. A healthcare app went live but lacked onboarding and FAQ support. Patients couldn't use it. Adoption failed. Best practice contrast. Closure includes transition, training, documentation, and lessons learned. The end of the project should feel like a handover, not a vanishing act. Failure is predictable and preventable. Every one of these mistakes is familiar because they're common. But they are not inevitable. Every failed project has a moment where course correction was possible, if someone spoke up, noticed a red flag, or implemented a proven practice. Learning how not to manage a project is a mirror. Look into it with honesty. Use it not to shame, but to transform. The difference between disaster and success often lies in humility, clarity, and a willingness to learn. The road to project failure is well paved, and often well intentioned. It's littered with assumptions, rushed decisions, and moments when no one spoke up. But the beauty of failure is that it teaches us, if we're willing to listen. By turning these what not to do scenarios into reflective checkpoints, we transform mistakes into mastery. Use this guide not as a mirror of blame, but as a map for growth. Because the difference between a failed project and a successful one is rarely luck, it's awareness, accountability, and the courage to course correct before it's too late.